To our top story tonight, in a post on his Truth Social account, US President Donald Trump has warned that Hamas has long been a ruthless, violent threat and blamed it for the October 7th massacre, saying over 25,000 Hamas soldiers, as per his description, have already been killed. He set a firm deadline, Sunday at 6 p.m. Washington time, for Hamas to accept a proposed peace deal or face unprecedented consequences, and urged innocent Palestinians to evacuate danger zones and called for immediate release of all detainees, insisting the deal would bring Middle East peace. In a phone call requested by Washington, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan told US President Donald Trump and said that Turkey welcomed efforts to secure regional peace, but stressed that Israel must halt its attacks for any progress. According to the Turkish presidency, Erdogan assured Trump that Ankara would continue backing peace initiatives and contribute to his vision for global stability. They also discussed bilateral relations, with Erdogan emphasizing the importance of advancing cooperation, particularly in the defense industry. Gaza-based health authorities have announced that the death toll from Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip has climbed to over 66,200 and over 169,100 wounded. The Gaza Ministry of Health has reported that hospitals in the Gaza Strip have received 63 dead and 227 others injured in the past 24 hours. They also reported that 15 were dead and 80 wounded as a result of the Israeli bombing of aid centers. It also reported that the number of victims from the bombing of aid centers has risen to more than 2,500 deaths and more than 19,000 wounded. Former European Commission President Jose Manuel Barroso says recognition of a Palestinian state remains one of the most divisive foreign policy issues within the EU. Speaking at the Global Cybersecurity Forum in Riyadh, Barroso noted that while more than 150 nations worldwide recognize Palestine, only 15 of the EU's 27 member states have done so. He said the issue is rooted in historical divisions, as recognition of third states remains a sovereign decision for each country. But also added that while reconciliation is difficult, global efforts toward peace are vital amid what he called a preventable tragedy.
Of global issues, the European Union countries, they are aligned, very much aligned.
International health agencies evacuated critically ill premature babies from a hospital in Gaza City on Friday as Israel's offensive intensified in the north. The World Health Organization, the Red Cross and Humanity Auxilium transferred the infants from El Helu Hospital to Nasser Hospital in the south due to severe oxygen shortages caused by the siege. Medical teams carried newborns through rubble-strewn streets as emergency crews cleared paths for ambulances. UNICEF warned that mothers and infants face catastrophic conditions as hospitals are overwhelmed and supplies dwindle. Israeli forces have dispersed left-wing activists rallying at the Gaza border in solidarity with the Global Summit flotilla. Protesters gathered at the fence calling for an end to the war and condemning Israel's interception of aid boats bound for Gaza. One activist from Tel Aviv said the demonstration was meant to mirror the flotilla's effort to break the blockade at sea with a land protest. Soldiers broke up the rally shortly after it began. UNICEF says claims that southern Gaza is a safe zone are farcical, warning there is nowhere safe for civilians amid Israel's renewed offensive. Spokesperson James Elder, speaking from Gaza during a UN press briefing, said there is no secure refuge for Palestinians ordered to leave Gaza City as Israel intensifies its military campaign in the area. His remarks come as Israeli forces push deeper into the north, urging more than 1 million people to move south despite continued strikes across the enclave. Israeli forces have intercepted and boarded the Marinette, the last vessel from the global summer flotilla, still attempting to reach Gaza. The Marinette was believed to be the final ship sailing toward Gaza when crew members reported spotting warships before Israeli soldiers boarded on Friday. The interception marked the end of the flotilla's mission to deliver aid by sea amid the ongoing conflict. Pro-Palestinian protesters blocked a key border crossing between Mexico and the United States over Israel's detention of the Gaza aid flotilla. Dozens gathered at Paso del Norte bridge linking Ciudad Juarez and El Paso, forcing U.S. authorities to close the crossing for more than an hour. The protest, organized by the Palestinian Border Network, was part of a wave of global demonstrations after Israel intercepted almost 40 boats carrying aid to Gaza and detained over 450 activists, including 6 Mexicans and, of course, Greta Thunberg, the climate activist. The demonstration ended peacefully and traffic resumed once the crowd dispersed. Meanwhile, police in London kettled pro-Palestinian protesters near Downing Street during a rally against Israel's interception of the Gaza aid flotilla. Images from the demonstration show officers forming a line near the Prime Minister's residence, containing angry protesters as they condemned Israel's seizure of the flotilla carrying aid to besieged Palestinians. The protest was part of a wave of global demonstrations following the detention of more than 450 activists at sea. And hundreds rallied for a second day outside the United States Embassy in Kuala Lumpur today to protest Israel's interception of the Gaza-bound aid flotilla. Demonstrators in Malaysia's capital waved Palestinian flags and chanted slogans condemning Israel's seizure of the flotilla, which carried humanitarian aid to Gaza. The protest was part of growing global outrage over the detention of more than 450 activists intercepted at sea.